Hare Krishna, welcome to Sunday program. Thank you all for joining today's program. We are entering into the festival season, starting with Advaita Acharya's appearance day, then Nityan Prabhu's appearance day, and Gaur Purnima. Now let's set our mood with the today's program. In the today's program, we have Srila Prabhupada Aarti by Madhura Sitawati and family, and in the Bhajan Kirtan session, we have Thakurba and Neelaben Mataji, Damodar Prabhu, and today's class by Vidur Prabhu, and Aarti Kirtan by Ishani family, and Namaste by Nimai and Guruvani. Now we'll go to temple. Sachidanand Prabhu is doing the Srila Prabhupada Aarti, and Mother Sita Mataji and family, they're going to sing the Aarti. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Jai Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
How are you?
I'm good.
You ready to glorify Srila Prabhupada?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Wait, we'll see if Sachidanand Prabhu is ready. Then you can start glorifying Prabhupada. Where is Gaura today? Jai Krishna, where is Gaura?
He is not ready.
He's not ready. Okay, start singing.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Guru Sharana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma, Guru Sharana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma, Bandhu Savadana Mate, Bandhu Savadana Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Now Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivarikacharya Ashtavivangas A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Athamaved Bhakta Vrind ki Jai. Vartaman Guru Vrind ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurangan Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, Satchidanand Prabhu, for doing the aarti. Thank you, Jai Krishna and Mataji, for singing Prabhupada aarti. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Now we will hear from Srila Prabhupada.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. There is a very nice verse in Chanakya Slok. You just see how much time was considered as valuable. By this verse you will know. Chanakya Pandit says, Chanakya Pandit was a great politician. He was sometimes Prime Minister of the Emperor of India. So he says, Ayusha Chanaikopi na labhya sarnakotivhi. He says that a moment's time of your duration of life. Moment, not to speak of hours and days, but moment. He was considering moment to moment. Just like today, 15th March 1968, now it is 7:30 or past 7:35. Now, this 1968, 7:35 gone, as soon as it is 7:36, you cannot bring back that 1968 15th March evening 7:35 again. Even if you pay millions of dollars, please come back again. No. Finished. So Chanakya Pandit says that time is so valuable that if you pay millions of golden coins, you cannot give back even a moment. What is lost for good. Sache nirathakanganitaha. If you such valuable time spoil for nothing, without any profit, kanu hanis tatodhita. Just imagine how much you are losing, how greatly you are loser. The thing which you cannot get back by paying millions of dollars, if that is lost for nothing, how much you are losing, just imagine. So, the same thing, Prahlad Maharaj says that Dharmana Bhagavatan, to become Krishna conscious or God conscious, is so important that we should not lose even a moment's time. Immediately we shall begin. Why? Durlabhang manavang janma, manusang janma. He says that this human form of body is very rare. It is obtained after many, many births. The modern civilization, they do not understand what is the value of this human form of life. They think that this body is meant for sense enjoyment like cats and dogs. The cats and dogs, they are also enjoying life in four principles: eating, sleeping, defending and mating. So, human form of life is not meant for spoiling like cats and dogs. Human form of life is meant for something else. And that something else is Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. Because without human form of life, no other body can understand what is God, what is this world, what I am, where from I have come, where I have to go. These things are meant for human life. So, he says that from very childhood, actually, this is essential, from childhood, in the schools, in the colleges, this Bhagavatam Dharma or the occupation of Krishna consciousness should be introduced. This is necessary, but they do not understand. They think that this part life is all, and this body is all, and there is no other life, next life. They do not believe it. This is all due to ignorance. Life is eternity, and this part life is preparation for the next life.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this video, like Prabhupada mentioned, time is so valuable. Even if you pay millions of gold coins, you can't even get a single minute back. Whatever loss is lost. So we shouldn't waste our human form just for sense gratifications, like how the animals behave. Or this human form of life is meant for to know Krishna consciousness. That is our use of this life. Now we will get into the Bhajan Kirtan session. In the Bhajan Kirtan sessions, first we have Thakur Ba and Neelaban Mataji. We'll go to Rugby. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We can hear you, Mataji.
You can hear?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Please start the Kirtan.
We're just singing. You can see me. Yeah. जय श्री राधे श्याम श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। ओम मन को लगा के देखो, तन को मना के देखो, आएंगे श्याम सुंदर, प्रेम से बुला के देखो, मन को लगा के देखो, तन को मना के देखो, आएंगे श्याम सुंदर, प्रेम से बुला के देखो, श्याम राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम, श्याम राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। जो भी शरण में आया उनका दर्शन पाया। जो भी शरण में आया उनका दर्शन पाया। भक्तों ने जब भी पुकारा संतन पद से वो आया। भक्तों ने जब भी पुकारा संतन पद से वो आया। हर एक का साथ वो देता साथी बना के देखो। आएंगे शाम सुंदर प्रेम से बुला के देखो। श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। मन का दुख मन में ही छुपा कर तू रख ले। मन का दुख मन में ही छुपा कर तू रख ले। कहना है जो भी कह लो मनमोहन से तू ही कह ले। कहना है जो भी तुझको मनमोहन से तू ही कह ले। शाम सहारा है तेरा भरोसा करके देखो। शाम सहारा है तेरा भरोसा करके देखो। आएंगे शाम सुंदर प्रेम से बुला के देखो। मन को लगा के देखो तन को मना के देखो। मन को मना कर देखो तन को लगा कर देखो। आएंगे शाम सुंदर प्रेम से बुला के देखो। श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Radhe Shyam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. You sang really beautifully. He always comes up with traditional Hindi bhajans, which are very melodious. Thank you, Mataji. Now we'll go to Coventry. Hare Krishna, Damodar Prabhu.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
How are you, Prabhuji?
Yes, I'm fine. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we are all good. Thank you. Please
Okay.
start glorifying. Yeah.
Going to sing, but is a something 1 minute. Bhaj Hure Mana, Govind Das Kaviraj Krut. Bhajan 1 minute. Is mic is on? Yes. Can you hear me?
It's clear. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay. So before I sing the bhajan, I read a translation. O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly person. Both in the day and night, remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain, for a fraction of flickering happiness. I have uselessly served wicked and miserly man. What an arrogance of real happiness is there in all one's wealth, youthfulness, sons and family members. This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve the worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is the desire and great longing of Govind Das, engage himself with 9 process of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of the Lord Hari and chanting those glories constantly, remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend and completely offering the Lord one's very self. Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Bhajahu re mana Sinanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Bhajahu re mana Sinanandana Abhaya Charanara Dulabhamanava Janama Sasange Dulabhamanava Janama Sasange Darahuve Bhava Sivure Bhajahure Mana Chirandanandana Abhaya Charanara Ikaya Tapa Batavari Sana Edinayamiri Jagire Ikaya Tapa Batavari Sana Edinayamiri Jagire Vithalane Sinu Rupana Durijana
Jai. Thank you, Damoda Prabhu, for singing beautiful song. You always very enthusiastic to glorify Lordships. Thank you very much. Now it's time for class, and our yatra is very fortunate. We have senior devotees like Haridas Prabhu and Vidit Prabhu. Today we got opportunity to hear from Vidit Prabhu. I request Vidit Prabhu to join with us. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Thank you Prabhuji for joining.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Sudarshan there?
Yes Prabhuji, he is ready with the
He's got my
slot.
verse references. Good. Thank you. Okay. So let's start with Jai Radha Madhav for today's class. Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jayo Girivaradari Jayo Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jayo Girivaradari Jayo Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jayo Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Nitai Guru Haribo Haribo Bol Nitai Guru Haribo Haribol 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 Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Shyama Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Sachinanda Nitai Chand ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Iskcon Guru Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premananda Hari. So we can have today's verse up, please. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 8. Great, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this verse is Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa naniyagamina paramam purusham divyam yate patano chintayan. Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa naniyagamina paramam purusham divyam yate patano chintayan. Translation of this verse is, he who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So I'll read that again. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration of the Supreme Lord, one's ear, tongue, and mind are engaged. This mystic meditation is very easy to practice, and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Purusham means enjoyer. Although living entities belong to the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, they are in material contamination. They think themselves enjoyers, but they are not the Supreme Enjoyer. Here it is clearly stated that the Supreme Enjoyer is a Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different manifestations and plenary expansions as Narayan, Vasudev, etc. The devotee can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his features, Narayan, Krishna, Ram, etc., by chanting Hare Krishna. This practice will purify him. At the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation on the super soul within. Similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes his mind always on the Supreme Lord. The mind is fickle, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. One example often given is that of the caterpillar that thinks of becoming a butterfly, and so is transformed into a butterfly in the same life. Similarly, if we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our lives, we shall have the same bodily constitution as Krishna. So, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya paramam purusham divyam yate patanu chintayan. Translation: He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So, can we have the Srimad Bhagavatam verse, please, which is connected to this verse? So, I selected the verse which I like very much from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is giving the same message. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Bhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Ante Narayana Smriti. So, go to the translation, please. The translation of this lovely verse is: the highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. So, both of these verses are focusing on our destination when we quit this body, but the destination is dependent on what we have been doing throughout our lives. So, in the Sanskrit of this verse, what I love is Janma Labh Parapumsam. Janma Labh Parapumsam. Ante Narayana Smriti. So Janam, we all have Janam, so we are living now on this planet. But what is the maximum the best benefit. Janma labh parapumsa, you know. So we have a human birth. What is the best benefit, labh of this human birth? Ante Narayana Smriti. Ante, at the last moment, you should think of Krishna. Think of Krishna. And that why? That ties in with the Bhagavad Gita verse. Bhagavad Gita where it says, you know, he who meditates on me as a supreme personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged, remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So if we engage in constantly remembering Krishna, at the end of this life, we are sure to reach Krishna. That is the goal of our life. Yes, we should go back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada created this whole magazine called Back to Godhead because we're all lost souls here on this planet. We don't belong here. We need to be with Krishna, our real home. This is our temporary residence only. And worse than that, it's a temporary cell in a prison we are living in. So, Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanam Chana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Apta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's the word remember, which I was focusing on in these two verses. That think of me, but think of me at the end of one's life. And how can we do that? How can we think of Krishna at the end of our life? It's because we need to practice it throughout our life now. Not we put it off for some distant date in the future. We constantly hear that, oh, you're young, you should enjoy your life, eat, drink, and be merry, and do your religious things later on in your life. No. This constant remembering, you start now. This is the practice time. Start practicing now. We may not have love for Krishna or his holy names, but we should be aware that this is a good thing that we should be practicing, and that by this practice we will eventually develop this taste, this swad for Krishna, his form, his roop, his name, his leelas. So then the remembrance becomes easy. But unfortunately, we are all caught up in our daily lives, are we not, in our domestic lives? The days are occupied, our heads, minds occupied with our daily existence. How do we earn a livelihood, either through your own business, or you have a job you go to, and there's a pressure of that. Every day you are thinking about, you have lists of domestic chores and events coming up in your life that need to be taken care of. Making sure you're not upsetting your bosses, or making sure your business is taken care of and you're paying attention to it. It's not failing. So these anxieties are there all the time, right? You have a house to maintain, you have a family to maintain, the children. If you have children, either they're young or they're growing, and they need their maintenance, they need looking after, taken care of, they need to be schooled and educated, and later the anxieties of marriage, etc., etc. So if you're not careful, days, weeks, months, years then go by just wrapped around these things. That if you analyze it, is this all you're doing? This is all you're doing. Yeah. And months, years have gone by. Whereas a little time for Krishna gone? Why are we not giving Krishna priority? Because here in the Bhagavatam was Janma Labh Parapumsa. What is the highest labh, the highest benefit of this human birth? Highest. And Prahlad Maharaj, he says in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, this is rare, Manusha. Kumara Acharata Pragyo Dharmam Bhagavatam. Durlabha Manusha Janma. This human birth is rare. It's rare. So we have this rare human birth. What are we doing with it? Because once you have something, this precious rare human birth, and the best thing you can do is at the end remember Narayan, Krishna, Vishnu. Ante Narayana Smriti. And if you do that, then this best result is you go back to Krishna. You go back to Krishna. That is it. You all these anxieties you've been trying to cope with, for all these many months and years, they just disappear. They disappear. Because these sources of anxiety don't exist in the spiritual world. Vaikunt means no anxiety. Right? Kunt, none, no anxiety. Kunt, Vaikunt, no anxiety. But somehow it's easy to forget this and get wrapped up in the daily activities of just living in this world. Somehow it's difficult. So you could have a strong mind, willpower to say, no, let me make some time for Krishna. Let me start remembering. Because only then will you automatically be able to remember Krishna at the end of your life. If you're not doing it now, then it's hoping against hope that you'll remember Krishna at the end, whenever that moment comes. Because you haven't practiced, how will that happen? Radha Govind Swami, he gave a lovely example of what this is like. We all have our photographs taken, especially if we go to some event like wedding, engagements, parties, etc. Then there's group photographs. And the thing about the camera is that no matter what frame of mind you are in, but it's the moment when the button is pressed on a camera that captures your image. That captures your image, okay? And most often when he's taking pictures, he has to tell you, please smile. Because sometimes there's something in your head and you've been instructed, or you sort of know, my picture's about to be taken, I better smile. So, there's an artificial smile there. But sometimes whatever's in your head takes over and you forget to do that. So the moment that you press that camera, that image at that moment is captured on the film, right? That moment. Similarly, whatever, that frame of mind is determined by what you've been doing prior to that moment. You know, what is your head filled with? Either what was happening at that event, or what was troubling you from your normal everyday life. That is putting a frame of mind in you, and that will come across in your body. So whatever you're thinking, what is occupying your head, that will generally come across, unless the photographer has his messages got through. Please smile, please smile, but it will be artificial. Similarly, what will the last thing you'll be thinking of at the last moment of your life? You won't suddenly be able to think of Krishna and Narayan if you haven't done it, practiced it in your life. It will not happen. What you are doing throughout your life, that will pop in your head at the last moment. And if it's not connected with Krishna, you will not be remembering him in any of his forms. You will not, because you haven't practiced it throughout your life. Other things have taken over your life. So you will lose this opportunity to acquire the greatest benefit of human birth, which is a rare human birth. Rare human birth. It's that opportunity to get the greatest benefit from your life, you've lost it. That is why in Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, the instruction is always now. At this moment, there's no future moment. You start chanting now. Start chanting now. Start reading now. Start listening to classes now, and maintain it throughout your life. Maintain it throughout your life, and as time goes by, increase the amount of time you give to this. In the beginning, would probably a small amount of time you're dedicating to this. But honestly, as time goes by, you need to give more time to this, so that this remembering of Krishna's Leela, Krishna's names, Krishna's form, it will be natural. It will be natural. So if you're naturally doing it, you are naturally remembering Krishna, you will automatically remember him at the end of his life, because you're just doing it automatically. So this is the greatest benefit of this human birth. You have to remember Krishna at the end of his life. But please be careful you don't do, you control the other. The other life has a habit of taking over completely. It just takes over your life, and then Krishna gets pushed further and further and further back. Further and further back, lower priority. So Krishna isn't anywhere on your list of priorities. Then why would Krishna give you any time? He wants devotees with him in the spiritual world. And if you are not devotee minded, then Krishna really wouldn't want you there. You'll be a disturbance. So this other life, the everyday life we have to cope with. We live in the material world. We have some basic needs we have to take care of, but that shouldn't take over your life completely. And again, Prahlad Maharaj gives an excellent example in the 7th canto. I think he's talking to his school buddies, his Gurukul, and he says that these everyday things we do, every day we have some duties, some chores, we have to do them. We are like this. We are like the silkworm. if he's in control, we're like the silkworm. And what the silkworm is doing is slowly building a cocoon around himself. This silkworm slowly is building a cocoon around himself, so that eventually he's completely encased within the cocoon. So the silkworm is in a cocoon all of his own making. He made that cocoon and he's in it now. So similarly, our daily activities, we are weaving our own cocoon. Our everyday material activities, material duties, we are weaving a cocoon, and then we become trapped in it. You know, we become trapped in the cocoon of our own making. So, okay, yes, it's Radha Govind Maharaj. He was saying that, look, we recognize that most of the world does this regardless, whatever advice we give them. They build a cocoon and they're happy inside it, and eventually they die inside it. But he said, look, when you're doing this, can you do at least one thing? Can you at least leave a small window in it, so you can occasionally come out? Never mind a door. At least put a small window in this cocoon so you can occasionally climb out. Can you do that? Yeah, and that is the task of Iskcon, that we try and tell people, we try to shake them up, saying, look, please, I know you have all these duties and chores you have to do in your daily life, but please give some time, have a small window in your life, have a small window for Krishna. Yes, pop your head out, if possible, climb out. Climb out. Give some time to Krishna. Take darshan of Krishna. Go to a temple, take darshan of Krishna. Open up Krishna's Bhagavad Gita and read about Krishna. Listen to classes on Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna Maha. Do all these things. Do all these things. And this is a process. This is the way that if you keep on that path and don't neglect it, keep popping your head out of that window, then climb out of the window, seek the association of devotees, be in their association, and then this remembering of Krishna will become easier and more natural as time goes by. And then you will see, oh my God, that other life, I'm trapped in a cocoon. What is that? That's no matlab with my life living like that. Seems so important, but under deep analysis, there is no real matlab living like that. Because at the end, if you don't remember Krishna, then his greatest benefit, greatest love is lost. Punarjanma, you come back and you have to repeat, either in another human body or animal species, or maybe you didn't been very pious, you go to heavenly planets, but all that finishes, you come back. Punarjanma, you're trapped. You're trapped. You another human birth, then you weave another cocoon, that human birth, and so on and so on and so on. And how many countless lives have we been doing that? We are wasting this opportunity of this rare human birth, wasting it. So, and this, it is a real pain and frustration when we see that this is what's going on, this is how people are living, and we're trying to give some good guidance to people, but it's hard work and it's painful when often it's not received or taken, it's just ignored, and people can't see the importance of what we are saying. So on the 7th of February, very, very soon, in 8 days' time, Monday 7th, we are celebrating the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, a great devotee, also incarnation of Mahavishnu. So he was similarly, Advaita Acharya, he was the senior Vaishnava, the topmost Vaishnava of that time. There's a poster there. Thank you, Sudarshan. It'll be a Zoom program in the evening. So Advaita Acharya was the topmost devotee there, and he had a following of some other devotees. And they had this similar pain they felt. They saw this complete lack of interest in anything spiritual, complete engrossment in material activities, and their pain that in the inability to wake the people up. So here I'll read from Chaitanya Bhagavat to illustrate the mood of Advaita Acharya Prabhu and the Vaishnavas around him. It says, this is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Residing in Navadvip at that time was Advaita Acharya, the topmost Vaishnava, who is glorified throughout the world. Sri Advaita Acharya was the most respected teacher. He was as expert as Lord Shiva in explaining the devotional service of Lord Krishna with knowledge and renunciation, Gyan and Tyag. Gyan and Vairagya. Here he says Gyan Bhakti, Vairagya. Gyan Bhakti and Vairagya. Often Krishna conscious devotees are accused of being sentimentalists and emotion, and just driven on emotion only. But here he says no. He was expert in explaining devotional service of Lord Krishna with Gyan and Vairagya. He explained all the scriptures that are found in 3 worlds. He wasn't illiterate. He wasn't just an ordinary person with basic knowledge, basic education. No, he was well grounded in all the scriptures in the 3 worlds. He explained all the scriptures that are found in the 3 worlds and concluded that devotional service to the lotus feet of Krishna is the essence of all teachings. Essence of all teachings, devotional service to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Sri Advaita Acharya would enthusiastically worship Krishna with Tulsi manjaris and Ganga water. This was his process of worshiping Krishna. You don't have to have some elaborate ceremony, elaborate vidhi. You don't. In Kali Yuga, it's easy. To worship Krishna is very easy. And then, so he based his service on this following verse from the Gautamiya Tantra, which says, Tulsi dala matrena, matra tulsi dal. Matra is only. Tulsi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va. Vikrinite svam atmanam bhaktevyo bhaktavatsala. Shri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, he is bhaktavatsala. Bhaktavatsala. Affection to his devotees. Shri Krishna is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. Palmful of water. So this is what Advaita Acharya was doing. He was offering Here the Shaligram, he was offering Tulsi, Tulsi Patra, Tulsi leaves, and Ganga Jal. He was offering Ganga Jal. That simple worship he was calling Krishna. He loudly called for Krishna in great spiritual ecstasy. And that sound vibration pierced the coverings of the universe and was heard in the Vaikuntha planets. My goodness, what a calling! What a calling! You know, if we call out loudly now, you know, I mean, never mind Vaikuntha. I think even the people across the road won't hear me. You know, even Krishna in the temple down the road won't hear me. But look at this, how Advaita Acharya is calling, loudly calling. He's calling. He went up, 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 and pierced the layers of the universe into the Vaikuntha spiritual world, the spiritual sky. Went on and on and on to Golok Vrindavan. And Krishna heard that calling of Advaita Acharya. On hearing Advaita Prabhu's cry of love, Lord Krishna personally appeared, for he is controlled by the love of his devotees. Therefore, Advaita Acharya is the best of all Vaishnavas. There is no comparison to his devotional service in the entire universe. In this way, Advaita Acharya resided in Nadia in great distress. This is the point I was alluding to earlier. All this was wonderful, but he was in distress due to people's lack of devotion. People didn't have interest. They're not interested. Everyone in the entire world was engaged in materialistic activities. No one was engaged in worshipping or serving Krishna. They weren't interested. They weren't interested. Some people worship Vashuli, Chandi or Durga, other names are Chandi or Durga, with various ingredients. And some people worship the yakshas with meat and wine. Things devotees are not interested in. Yeah, we don't want these things. But the worship of yakshas was going on with those items. People would constantly dance, sing, and play musical instruments in great commotion. But they never heard the supremely auspicious names of Krishna. So in their parties, singing, dancing, and playing musical instruments, right? Carry on. You know, don't disturb us. We want to do this all night. But if the devotees were in kirtan, they consider that as a disturbance. I wanted to stop it. I wanted to stop it. The devotees headed by Advaita Acharya were distressed on seeing the people engaged in so-called auspicious activities that were not related to Krishna. By nature, see, the heart of Advaita Acharya was full of compassion. So he mercifully contemplated how to deliver the living entities, and we have to have the same mood as the devotees, followers of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada had that compassion, that mercy, how to deliver the people of the world. Prabhupada had the compassion. He took on such a arduous journey on 2-month cargo ship journey to America, struggling for a whole year. This is a mercy, but then his influence, he influenced some of the people there to turn towards Krishna, become devotees. Then he sent them on missionary activities around the world. And here we are many years later, lovely, lovely centers all over the world, temples, devotee chanting parties, you see them all over the world. And then when you go on yatra to something like Mayapur, Vrindavan, you meet some of these devotees and you can hear some of the lovely stories they have. This is the compassion started by Prabhupada, that one person. Hear this compassion which Advaita Acharya had, because Advaita Acharya, he mercifully contemplated how to deliver the living entities. And Advaita Acharya is speaking, if my Lord descends, then all these fallen souls will be delivered. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is because of Advaita Acharya's calling. My name, Advaita Singha, lion, Advaita Singha will be justified when I cause the descent of the beloved Lord of Vaikuntha. I will make the Lord of Vaikuntha appear in this world, and we will dance, chant, and thus deliver the fallen living entities. With this determination, Advaita Acharya constantly served the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chandra with fixed mind. He constantly served him. This word constant is a good word for devotees. That's why I was saying we should start remembering Krishna now, and then as time goes by, increase your remembrance, your meditation. Make it more and more. Let it occupy your head more and more as time goes by. And you really have to have a strong will, strong mind, strong determination to do this and start to cut out the other thing. Because the other thing, material activity, can completely take over your life. But the result of the other activity is you're simply cocooning yourself. You're building your own cocoon and you're going to get trapped inside it. So, and then Lord Chaitanya repeatedly confirmed when Lord Chaitanya did appear eventually, he confirmed repeatedly that he incarnated, he descended, he came down due the desire of Sri Advaita Prabhu. Such is the power of a devotee. And that's why, in that the Lord says, I sell myself. Shri Krishna sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulsi leaf and a palm full of water. Devotee, keyword devotee, yeah? Not anybody. So there we go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's big celebration and Nityananda Prabhu's appearance there are coming up soon. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the middle of March, but it's Advaita Acharya's appearance there on the next Monday, on the 7th of February. And then on the 14th of February, 1 week later, is Nityananda Prabhu's appearance there, Nityananda Trayodasi, big celebration. So the poster is again up there, and then we'll give you the poster also for Nityananda Prabhu's appearance there. At the moment, both of these will still continue to have Zoom programs, online programs. But the sooner we can, as soon as all this COVID thing is over and we're able to meet safely, that would be such a joyous moment. We can all gather in the temple and do Kirtan together. Yes, Kirtan together. Really let go. Really let go. So I have a few more minutes. So on the 26th, it was the Republic Day of Bharat, India. This was a Republic Day. So in 1947, we gained our independence from British rule. But it was in January 26, 1950, that our constitution was adopted as an independent country. So that's why we have two separate celebrations. And the beautiful thing we as devotees say about Bharat is that a lot of the appearances of the Lord, his incarnations, are mostly in Bharat. They're in Bharat. And if they do appear elsewhere, then they're on different planets, different heavenly planets. So, but this is the greatness of Bharat. And so here I just came across some verses from the demigods are praying in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, 19th verse. And there is some glorification of Bharat version. Yeah, 5th canto, there Bhumandal is described. The construction of this universe according to Vedic scriptures is described. Chapter 19, 5th canto, about 4 verses, and is glorifying Bharat verse. And please appreciate this is Vedic scriptures, the sadhus, the saints, the holy rivers, the holy temples, places of pilgrimage. It's land of religion. What can I say? Land of religion. And not just basic religion, as much knowledge as you want. Full gyan, not just pocket dictionary, complete multi-volume dictionary of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So here it's saying, since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, again and again, yes, Janma la parapumsam ante narayanasmriti. Since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. So we are in Bharat verse, we are on this, we are on this planet Earth, and demigods, what are they saying? They're saying how wonderful it is for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatvarsh. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of God Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human births in Bharatvarsh to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. Don't underestimate the rare thing we have. Yes. Dullabham manushim janma, Prahlad Maharaj's words. This human birth is rare, especially in Bharatvarsh. They're continuing. After performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. Devi Devtas are speaking, the demigods are speaking. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Can't remember him. Ante Narayana Smriti. Janmala Purupam Sam Ante Narayana Smriti. We can't remember him, demigods saying. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsh is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmlok for millions and billions of years. Because even if one is elevated to Brahmlok, planet Lord Brahma, he must return to repeated birth and death, Punarjanma. Although life in Bharatvarsh in a lower planetary system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection. Even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, thus one attains Vaikuntha Lok, where there is neither anxiety, yes, Vaikuntha means no kunt, kunt vai, so Vaikuntha, no anxiety, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. An intelligent person does not take interest in a place, even in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganga of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there. So here's some analogical glorification of Krishna consciousness. So if the pure Ganga of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there, if there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. And finally, Bharatvarsha offers a proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of Gyan and Karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity, he does not take to devotional service, he is certainly like liberated forest animals and birds that are careless and are therefore again bound by a hunter. So that's demigods describing the glories of Bharatvarsha in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They're lamenting their own situation, that because they're in an environment where there is immense sense gratification, the opportunity to remember Narayan is missed, is scant and is missed. So they're really lamenting all that. So please value, and okay, some of us, now we're here in this foreign country, doesn't matter, but as devotees, our desire should be to be in Bharatvarsha. When can we go and go on yatra? When can I take a darshan of Lord Jagannath? When can I go to Mayapur and take darshan of Panchatattva? Go to Yogpith and take mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But so our desire needs to be there. So work on that, please work on that. And then when you do get there, appreciate that glorious nation, the glorious place, Bharatvarsha. So okay, it's 7:30. I will stop there. I hope you enjoyed that out, and if I made any mistakes, please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I really like the points that human birth is very rare, and if you not remember Krishna at the end of your life, then you can't go back to him. So don't waste this human birth. And the pastimes of Advaitacharya Prabhu, thank you for sharing them, and you set the mood for the Advaitacharya's appearance day. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. I forgot to mention another appearance day, a big one coming tomorrow. We'll deal with that tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Now it's time for Aarti. Gaura Aarti and the main Aarti. Prem Prakash Prabhu and family, they're singing the Aarti. And Satchidananda Prabhu is doing the Aarti from the temple. Hare Krishna, Prem Prakash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Temple Pranam.
Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you very much for joining. Please start the Aarti.
Hare Krishna. Kepa Jayo Gaurachande Arati Kosho Kepa Jayo Gaurachande Arati Kosho सिंह साने आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने हरि आदि गौरी चामर झुलाया नर हरि आदि गौरी चामर झुलाया संजय मुकुंद घोषादि गाया संजय मुकुंद घोषादि गाया बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करता बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करता मांगुरा मृदंगा बाजे अमरसाला माधुर मृदंगा बाजे अमरसाला शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर मधुर बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर नित्य गौर नित्य गौर नित्य गौर बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी मदन उज्ज्वला कोटि चंद्र जीनी मदन उज्ज्वला गला देश वनमाला करे जलमाला गला देश वनमाला करे जलमाला शिवा सुख राजा प्रेमे गदगदा शिवा सुख राजा प्रेमे गदगदा भगति विनोदाले गौरा जगमनलो Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Sudarshan, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Jayo Guru Maharaj, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaur, Nittai Gaur, Nittai Gaur, Nittai Gaur, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाराचार्य अष्टदिव्यांगे देसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाराचार्य अष्टदिव्यांगे भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माया यमुना माया की जय। भक्ति तुलसी महारानी की जय। प्यारे सच्चर निताय चांद की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। राधा माधव मोहन दादा गोकुल नंदी की जय। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। मानी माँ महाराज की जय। श्रीराज गोवर्धन जी की जय। मधुसूदन महाराज की जय। पंच तत्व की जय। नरसिंहदेव भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। छटको सामदान की जय। इस्कॉन कॉन्ट्री यात्रा की जय। इस्कॉन वर्ल्ड वाइड यात्रा की जय। वृंदावन धाम मधुर धाम नगधाम मायापुर धाम मायापुर एक चक्रधाम दुर्गधाम मंगलगिरी धाम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता श्रीमद् भागवतम से चेताम से महारानी की जय। हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र की जय। सबको साम वृंदावन की जय। परंपरा की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंद।
Thank you, Prakash Prabhu, Ishani Mataji, and Aradhya for singing very. And thank you, Aradhya, especially for playing the harmonium. It's very difficult.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very
Mataji.
much.
Thank you so much for giving
Now,
us.
now it's time for Narsingadev prayers, and we'll remember the departed souls, Jankraj Prabhu, mother and mother-in-law, Bhakta Rubin, and we specially pray for our leaders, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj, and His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj, and the many other Iskcon gurus and leaders suffering around the world, and all their care team. And we will also pray for His Grace Janivas Prabhu, Bhakti Rita Vargama Mataji's mother, Pradeep Pankani and daughter Reena, Lucky Roy and Sweetie Roy, Lakshman Odedra, Premanjani Mataji, Shraddha Mataji, Srimati Mataji, Prem Malan, Shantiben Solanki, and Chalpati Rao, Chiguru Srinivas, Satyanarayan Das, Gaur Hari Prabhu's mother, John Devendra, Kishore Bhai Thakur, Daniel House, Devanshi, and many other devotees suffering around the world. Jai Narsingadev Bhagwan ki jai. Nima and Gurwani are singing Narsingadev prayers. Hare Krishna Gurwani.
Hari Bol.
Your volume is a bit low.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya Pranadadadadayani Hiranyakashipurvakshaya Shilatankaranakarare Vidorasimha Bharatamatima Yato Yapayamitato
Jai, thank you, Nima and Gurwani, for singing our singer prayers. Nima, you okay? You're looking a bit serious today. You had a fight with your sister? Jai, thank you. Now we reached our end of the program. Friday, Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi's appearance day and Shri Raghunath Thakur appearance day. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami appearance day, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's appearance day, and Srimati Vishnupriya Devidas's appearance day, and Saraswati Puja, Vasanta Panchami. These are all happening on Friday, 5th, that is 5th of February. And next Monday, we're celebrating Advaita Acharya's appearance day. You can see the poster. It's on 7th of February. There's Kirtan's Katha happening on the Zoom with the same passcode, and the program starting from 7:30 onwards. Thank you all for joining today's program. Thank you. Like Vidur Prabhu mentioned in the class, please give some time for Krishna and make this human life useful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.